It was a normal day.
You know, it started out as sort of a normal day.
Seeing the disaster was the worst thing in my life.
I don't remember hearing any wind. I hear glass breaking, shattering.
We just kind of hugged each other. I mean, it was crazy.
There was, at a glance, no reason for hope.
So I stepped out of my back door, looked to the west, and there it was. There was a tornado. By the time I had time to register what was going on, the pages dropped for our fire department to respond to Fairdale for multiple houses down.
Then as the storm passed and I turned on the news, and I could see that serious damage was in the works and had happened already in Fairdale.
I remember we were at work talking about the storm and how the storm always misses us. Because every time it seems to, we're kind of in a little bit of a valley, always misses us.
You know, your heart sinks. You know, people start to come towards you. They seen the lights and that sort of stuff, and they're just asking for help, and they think people are trapped in their basement, and you feel helpless.
But I was restless, and I wanted to do something, and I didn't know what to do.
Well, our neighbor pulled us out. I jumped on top of my washer to start pulling people out because I went into, recovery mode.
The county had paid to offset the cost of the removal of debris, but they didn't have a disaster recovery fund. So people were pretty much on their own. That just didn't seem right, and it also didn't seem that there was going to be a good path for recovery. So a couple dozen of us got together and decided we'd pull together a steering committee.
It was time to, come up with a plan, and it was a lot of guys, boots on the ground.
I showed up at the fire department the next morning. Went to Sam's Club, bought some stuff, showed up at the fire department, and was just kind of helping with some donations and directing things. And all of a sudden, I was kind of put in charge of all those donations.
That's the story. That's the real story, because we had so many people come out to help, help the victims, help get them placed in some place to live, and they lost everything. Donations started to come in.
We had over 13 semis full of donations by the time we were done, and that doesn't include what people came and got in those couple of days.
And the first thing we had to do was know our customers. They say that's the most important thing in business. I think it also is the most important thing when you're a not-for-profit or in your public service. And so it meant getting acquainted with people, talking to them one-on-one. At a time when they're somewhat in shock. They're not used to talking about personal things with strangers, and we had to dig down pretty quickly to find out how they were financially and in other respects, so that they knew what was ahead for them. Is it possible to rebuild or not?
It'd been a lot easier for me to just went someplace else and walked in and bought a house already done, and but I wanted to stay in Fairdale.
And with the help of a member of our board, who is a civil engineer, Kevin Bungie, we were able to, and at no cost to us, Kevin just totally donated his time and his staff's time, we designed a community septic system.
The outpouring of stuff, things, items, most of it brand new. It was just amazing. The money that we raised, over $1 million that we raised in donations alone.
Everybody helps everybody here.
I look back at that, and I would not live any place other than here.
We had community meetings every month, sometimes a little more often in the early going, so we could hear people. What are you liking? What aren't you liking? By the way, here's what we've raised so far. Here's what we need to raise. Here's what we're spending the money on to the penny. This is the first time that Fairdale as a community is back together in one place, except for those community meetings, which were always a little stressful. It was business and all that. This is enjoyment, social, feeling like a town again.
Today is celebration. This is a milestone. Again, we have this new park that's brought up here. We have homes. It's just a day of healing.
I've had my heart in my throat all day today, I'd say. So I'm connected with them. I guess I always will be. chief constitutional officer in the state. Could have just done a 10-minute get out, hi, how are you, keep up the good work, got back in and gone. He was here for almost 3 hours. And I think he was very moved too. His message was good and strong, that the state of Illinois, and he speaks for the state of Illinois, whatever people may think about this or that policy position, that's the governor of the state of Illinois. And he has brought today some additional good spirit and hope. And there was a moment when the firemen, the first responders from the Kirkland Fire Department, had lined up in their bunker gear, much as they were that night a year ago, and they had their trucks and vehicles behind them. And we started walking from a habitat groundbreaking to the park, just a couple blocks, and all of a sudden they snapped to attention to salute the governor. There's a lot of appreciation. People here don't have to say thank you to us. We're here because they deserve help.
Small town strong, we did it, and we're going to continue doing it. I mean, it's all about community. You know, we love each other. We may have barely known each other on April 8th last year, but we know and love each other now, and that's what community is all about.
They climbed the Alps in the last year, and for some of them, it's all now down to our green valleys. For others, there's still another hill to climb, but we're there with them, and we're not going to let them go.